I don't think I asked for that big of an introduction, but thank you to Ernie. The voice of God, as they call it in the theater business, was Ernie Ernstrom, who actually designed this set. And so I want to thank him for doing that. Okay, our next presenter, and I won't take too much of the time, is someone who's deeply committed to this industry, Rebecca Rusk Lim, who went from working at Sears for many, many years to making an incredibly exciting leap to her next project, which is working for Turner. We're very excited to have her and Turner back and to actually be vocal about what they're doing. And Rebecca is going to show you some things that haven't been announced. And I'd like to welcome to the stage, Rebecca. There are few women in tech who understand what's going on in this space, and you're one of the top, I'd say, three.
Thanks,
So,
Tracy.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know she hates to be thanked, but I want to thank her. And people have been talking about this morning what this venue looks like, and I kind of think it looks like an evangelistic, like kind of preacher kind of thing, which I'm going to try not to preach, but I do want to talk about UI, UX, and designing these applications from a user point of view for user-centered design. And if anybody wants to give me an amen at some point, you go right ahead. But really, there's been a lot of talk. Do you guys want to bring up the tablet? There's been a lot of talk around a lot of different things that have been going on in our industry. And there's a lot of vendors, there's a lot of programmers, there's a lot of technology companies, there's a lot of distributors. But bottom line, we're going to talk today about the user. And we're really going to talk about how these things are changing, how you really look at user-centered design. And that, my jump to Turner, is really all about that. Turner has been focused on developing things across new platforms, but now we're really putting the user in the mix, and that's the really most important part. So my team does the information architecture and really the wireframing. And so what our process is we work with business owners, which the things I'm going to show you today. I'm static? Okay, we're going to use this one. All right. So the things that I'm going to talk today are really about our entertainment networks, and they are all different kinds of apps, but I'm going to focus on one, which is our newest one. But when we talk about user-centered design, really you have to take what the business unit wants to do and you have to match it with user needs. And then the next big thing you need to do is a lot of usability testing. A lot of people have talked to me about this is something that not all companies do. Like they say, okay, we got to build an app and we got to do it in 60 days and it's got to get out there, bam. Well, if you don't test it in front of the users, that really, you can get in a lot of trouble with that. And especially on these new platforms, because it is so new to the users. And later on in the talk, I'm going to give you some best practices around usability, because we've done many, many hours just sitting there watching people, watching a television, having these apps on their laps, on a tablet, on a smartphone, and really seeing what the fans of the show, like how they're looking at things. So the first app that we built, which is out there in the Apple Store and Android, is for Big Bang Theory. And what we did was we wanted to do a special treat for the fans. We wanted to do something that was different when the show moved from CBS to TBS and have people have a chance to interact. The next one we did was for leverage. And that one, again, it has a completely different feel to it because we built it for leverage. We built Big Bang for Big Bang. We built leverage for leverage. The people who are going to go into the stores and find these different applications, they're free, are people who are fans of the show. And these early day apps are really ones that are going to help inform us when we can do more on one screen, or how we evolve the business going forward, how that's all going to work. So when I say the anatomy of an app, I'm really looking at the anatomy from a user perspective and how we're trying to move that forward. And then I know a few of you have seen the Conan app that we launched as well. And again, what our team did here was all the wireframing, all the information architecture, what the information flow looks like. Then we work with Team Coco and make sure that, you know, it's on brand with them. We work with their design team. We work with the Turner Studios team. Then, so we go from the interaction layer to the presentation layer, and then into dev. So that's kind of how we're putting these apps together, and all of the different ones that we're building have these different building blocks so that we're doing these things in-house. So they have the ACR, they have a back end that we can tie to, the content management. We capture data on everything, and that's really, really helpful from the perspective of what are people actually doing? What do they like? What do they not like? Like, what's important to them? Also, the integration with the ad point platform. Very huge to how the business is going to roll forward. I mean, all these apps are free. All these are really special treats for the users. But bottom line, they can still have ads, or in the case of Conan, the app is completely sponsored by one company. And then social. Now, I mean, people talk about social TV all the time. So what is social TV doing to our business? And some people say it's making watching television relevant again, because people want to be live television, because people want to be chatting and interacting with their friends. They're not waiting for the water cooler the next day. They're actually doing social, you know, as the show is airing. And fans of the show are very passionate. We know that they're, you know, texting with their friends, or they're on Facebook, or their Twitter, or whatever, you know, platform they like. But bottom line, when we incorporate some of that activity into our app, we can see people, now I'm not going to say they're nerds, but people for Big Bang Theory that come night after night after night, you know, that want to interact with the app. And it's like, right on, because they have a place to do it. And there's other people like them, and, you know, they're seeing that it's on TBS. So that's all good. So what I'm going to talk about now is new app that we have. And Tracy said stuff that hasn't been released, but honestly, it just got released into the Apple Store yesterday, day before, for Falling Skies. So when we started working, and again, we work with all the brands within Turner to create these apps. We're the techie, you know, nerdy kind of technology group. So we go with the brands and work directly with them. So for TNT, we know drama, they have 4 kinds of fans. So we're looking at what do these fans want to do with a companion application. And so we've got, you know, different people that are trying to do different things. So some like relationship dramas, which is Rizzoli and Isles. Others are action seekers. Others, armchair detectives. Competition junkies, those people are hopefully going to tune into our new show called The Great Escape. So we're looking at kind of how those fan bases have been built, popcorn mindset, you know, they like to watch shows. So what we do then is take those fan base and develop, and I know they're kind of hard to see on the screens, but we develop these wireframes, very serious wireframes, lots of functionality, where it's going to go, not pretty, not, you know, just functionally what's there for both the tablet and the smartphones. And it's not trivial to be moving across these platforms with these same functions and making them simple and easy to use. So for Falling Skies, those were wireframes for Falling Skies. Once we deliver that from the IA and the user experience group, then we go to Turner Studios. And again, these are kind of mushy on that monitor, but bottom line, that we take those same functional wireframes, came out with, well, there were about 8 of them, but I'm just showing you 3 of them. So you can see a sense of what the presentation layer looks on top of once you've got the functional layer in place. So what we did then was develop this one. And this was a paper prototype that we ended up taking, doing some testing in the Time Warner lab that's in New York in the Time Warner Center. And it was a paper prototype. So we put it in front of people, said, what do you think? Do you like it? Will you interact with it? They're like, sure, that's great, right? But then when, you know, we really took it and built it and tested it again, we had to come back with something like this. Because when you go look at this, you can see that there are big arrows on it, and people are like, yeah, on the right side, on the left side, sure, we'll use that. Countdown, got it, whatever. But when we actually put the app in front of them, people think, oh, because they have a tablet in front of them, they're going to automatically swipe. You know what? They're not. The users are, I mean, some will, but people are really early stages of this. So you have to make things really obvious, and you have to make it for the users. These fans, we're not making it for Apple users or Droid users. We're making it for fans of Falling Skies. So where do those people sit, and how do they really interact? So now you can see that we put hints on either side. So people know that there's more content behind it. So people know, and this one has tested really well. This one is, you know, this is what's in the store now. If you go there and you download it for free, this is how you would see it. So now I'm going to actually go here, and I'm going to show you the app itself. And since it's meant to be on a tablet, it's going to break up on this huge projection a little bit. But basically, when you first launch the app, we're going to tell people, this is what we're doing. I know it looks kind of long, and yes, there's some legalese in it, but we need to tell people, because we heard this in usability. Wait a minute. You're using my microphone to do this? Really? Are you recording me? No. We don't really want to know what somebody's saying while they're watching this. That's not, you know, something we're really interested in, or any of that, or if their dog's barking. But basically, we want to make sure that people can interact. So you can see that when you come in, there's a countdown, and because the actual premiere of Falling Skies is happening this coming weekend, this hasn't aired yet. So you're not going to get to see a clip of the show, because otherwise, you know, I want to keep working at Turner, and you know, it's not something that I, you know, can do right now. But you can see that you can count down. So my clock is a little strange on this device, if you're wondering what day it is. But anyway, you can see that there's a big fat countdown, so people can come in. If the show's coming up, they can set an alert. They can share it off with their friends. They can, you know, they can see other episodes that are upcoming. And then they can go to past episodes, and they can do, you know, they can go in there and they can check it out. And I'm going to go back to this one, which would be the first one. And so once you say play along with the episode, then if you had ACR going and you have the video going, the app's going to recognize what episode that you're on, and it's going to throw you to the right place, or the user can click there. But bottom line, we also found in usability, if we just start popping stuff on screen just because they got there, they're like, huh? So, you know, we give them some feedback that said, yep, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining us, you know, rock and roll. And then we give them this little countdown. It's over on the right side, and it's about to click over, and there's another interactive element that's coming up. And again, this is all because this is demo. This would actually be tied to the show. So some other things down here, and you can see this is dev content, but you know, there's this whole social stream that goes on. So if you really just want to interact with the show, great, you can do that up there. If you're really into the social, then you can do that below. So they're very different actions. Different people like different stuff. We've heard this in usability. Some people are like, oh no, I don't want to see anything while the show's on. Other people are like, oh yeah, I want to share that right now. So this is a sci-fi group. You know, this is a group of people who really like this show. This is the second season of it. That right there, see the bullets come on? That kind of thing is what we call a takeover. So things like if there was a gunshot that just happened on screen, so that's gonna like come over here. So it's like, you know, stuff going on here as well as what's going on screen. So if you look at the menu that we put up there, you can invite friends. I'm going to replay the intro video for you guys just so you can see a little more about the app. And hopefully we will have audio.
Aliens are about to invade your tablet. It's Falling Skies like you've never seen it before. Here's how it works. When watching any episode of Falling Skies on your TV, launch the app. your tablet will listen for the episode and deliver polls, trivia, games, and more. All synced up to what you're watching.
Think we found your skidder.
Each episode is different. Return to the home screen to set an alert for an upcoming episode, or to swipe to previous episodes that you may have missed.
These things can be hit, and they can be hit hard.
While watching, you can connect with other fans. Just tap to post and log in through Facebook or Twitter to share thoughts and theories.
Maybe they weren't always skidders.
And it doesn't stop there. At the end of new episodes, keep the app open for Second Watch, where host Will Wheaton talks to the cast and crew and digs deeper into the episode you just saw.
Welcome to Second Watch, everyone, your direct line to the second mass.
That's all there is to it. Have fun, and thanks for watching Falling Skies on TNT.
So, thank you. You know, that is help made easy. That's what viewers want to see. They want to see, here's my app, here's how it works, here's what it's got. Yeah, it's shallow. You know, it doesn't really have a ton of stuff in it. And guess what? The usability that we're doing is saying that's what people want when they're watching a show. A lot of people I'm seeing out there, some of these apps, they feel like, you know, Swiss Army knives. Some people just want a toaster because, you know, really, they're trying to watch the show. So that's, you know, we put things in here that make it easy for people to interact, but we're not trying to, you know, do too much with it. We are, you know, promoting other things that are on TBS so that you can go, and TNT, so that you can go and find it from the, you know, a direct link out to the website. Kind of the normal thing. You can invite your friends so that you can, oh, now that's another takeover. That's like, oh my God, what happened to my screen? Anyway, that's, you know, that's kind of some of the fun stuff that we're trying to do. You take a poll. Oh, I'm incorrect, but, you know, I haven't seen the show yet. What can I say? So, but anyway, these are the kind of things that we're working on, and I think if you get this, if you're a sci-fi fan and you play along with it, you have feedback for me, user feedback, I always want that, so please send that. I'm going to go back to the presentation now. And and if anybody wants to see more of that, download it. Huh? Amen? Right on, I got an amen. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the usability best practices for a second before I run out of time. Like I said, we have been doing a lot of usability testing. Very near and dear. That was the first thing when I got to Turner was with my small team, mighty team of, there's 3 of us now, we really tried to get and we have gotten usability testing as part of our dev process. That is huge. And we've found some things along the way. You need to recruit for fans of the show for an app like this. If they don't know what Falling Skies is, they're going to have a lot harder time giving you relevant feedback. It's a fan of the show that's going to go out and get this. And bottom line, these are your fans. These are the people you want to piss off the least. So you want them to keep coming back, and you want them to use your app. Don't think that you don't put a help in there, or you don't tell them how this thing works. Even if it doesn't really have a ton of functionality, people still, it is so new. And I know that some people have heard me say this before, but honestly, when we started doing the first, for Big Bang Theory, we started doing some of the usability testing, and we had these people in there and, you know, one-on-one, and we said to people, well, I just want to get an idea. So what do you think a companion app really means? Like, what is that? And they said, Match.com? So it's like eHarmony? We're like, yeah, no, that's like something you do while you're watching TV. Okay. So, I mean, really, we're all experts in here. I mean, I know a lot of you guys have been in this space for a long time. Maybe not this space, but other kind of interactive spaces. We're not the audience, right? We're talking about somebody who's watching Falling Skies or Conan or another show that are really engaged with that show and just want something else on their tablet or smartphone because we know they have them in their hands while they're watching TV. We know they do. Everybody knows they do. So usability, help is not overrated, match the tone of the show. Like if you just put random stuff in there that doesn't really make sense to people, they're going to be like, huh? I came here for Falling Skies. So make it really clear, like with Big Bang, we did things that are goofy, and the tone of the content that's in there really matches the tone of that show. Social integration, we've already kind of talked about that, but that is huge. And then a lot of these are such early days, right? So what are we doing continuity-wise? They come in, they're watching Falling Skies. We want to move them on to the next show that's on TNT, or we want to take them off to TBS, or we want to do other things with them. I think it's very early days of how we're going to extend that. But one of the things that, for the first time, that TNT is doing is what was mentioned in the video, which is called Second Watch. And it's online content only. So once the show is over, it actually shows up, the video just starts in the app, and it's for 15 minutes, and people can continue, because we saw, especially with the Leverage app, people stayed with us for like an hour. And after the show was over, people stayed there to interact. People were like, oh, this works on DVR, right on. Hopefully it works on VOD. Hopefully, so people want some further engagement. If they do, great. If they don't, go watch the next show. But trying to figure out what you're going to do with those users once they've been there, I mean, it's really important to how you build the products in the future. So main takeaways, which, can I get an amen? I know, you really need to understand your audience. You really need to know who you're building this app for. Listen to the audience. Try to see what you can do here that will bring them value. There's a lot of people that say, we have a shiny new object, we need to build something on it. But what is the user on that platform? What makes the most sense to them? Which is not necessarily the same thing they would do on another platform. And there's this whole ecosystem of how people are going to move across this stuff. I mean, that's what we're building now, right? I mean, here's what you're doing on the main linear television. Here's what's going on VOD. Here's what's going on broadband VOD. Here's what's going on tablet. Here's what's going on a smartphone. I mean, all that whole ecosystem and all those touch points for all those brands, it's still that same audience, although they might be on a different platform. So really put the audience first, and that's the essence of user-centered design. The KISS principle, okay, and usability. I had at least one guy, well, we had one that we loved, who said, keep it stupid simple. And we were like, okay, that makes sense to me. But no, keep it simple, and just make it easy for people to do what they want to do with your application. And then the other thing, I can't say this enough, do usability testing. Just try to get it in there. Turner's really fortunate. We have 3 testing facilities. We have one at the CNN Center. We have one up in the Time Warner Center, and then we have another one that's out in LA at Warner Brothers Studios. So we can get different kinds of people. But there are plenty of usability experts around who can help you, work on how you do your usability testing. And if you ever have a question about that, please contact me, because I would be happy to talk about that. I think as an industry, that's something that we really need to think about on these new platforms. And I know there's going to be talk about ACR later on today. We're forming best practices around the user experience for that. It's really important, again, to think, we have these new business models, we have these new technologies. Think about the user first, because I think as an industry we'll be more successful if we do it that way. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Rebecca. I don't know which mic I'm on.